Yo, I'm so sorry about the sound not coming through. I'm so sorry about that, y'all. Okay, um, I just fixed it, so I hope that you can you're good with me. I hope you know it's just a video of me talking and moving some slides around, and I hope that was entertaining and exciting for you. But at least you had music while I was talking and moving some slides around, right? It could be worse, right? So for you that have just joined us, I'm just gonna jump in and be like, "Yo, Bible thumps, props to you. Electric, a longboard, thanks to you. Ken A27, thanks for joining us. K Techie, MM Delk, and Trin Bob, who's always repping, who've been here, right? Sorry, I just got a new sound setup, so I'm a little bit new to it. So the beginning of this video is just me doing a lot of moving my mouth with no sound coming out, but I'm back. And what we're talking about was my experience in doing research for a presentation that's later today, called the Sex Work Survival Guide, right? And in that experience, I got to tell you, it's really hard, so much harder than it is to be a hacker. It's so hard to be a sex worker. You know, like there's so much stuff you just can't imagine. It's just not clear, and you're never gonna know. Like, because I always tell people, you gotta stay within the terms of service. You gotta stay within the legit way to do stuff, and it's just really hard to do stuff above ground and legit, right? But I did figure it out, and these are my slides based on the research. I don't want to do the same thing twice for people who are going to check out the conference, which again is a free conference, the Sex Work Survival Guide. You can find it on Evernote. There's a bit.ly link that people can re-put into the chat for you, but it's bit.ly/SW Survival Guide, one words, all caps, all right? And the first thing I talked about was compartmentalization, which I think is so important for people who do sex work, but it's so important for all of us, right? You know, I do that thing where I always talk about how we're all complicated and we all bring a lot to the work we do, and we're all really different. And you want to express the side of you that in sex work, it's your stage name or your persona, and you want to separate that from the real you. And that means each thing that you do means, like I have this little list here. You need your own computer. So whether you're doing sex work, whether you're a computer hacker, or whether you're doing anything online, understand that you need to appear to be detached from your normal, everyday, boring self, right? And that means you have your own computer, you have your own internet, you have your own phone, you have your own all this other stuff, your own address. And obviously, the easy way, if you have crazy money, is to buy a new computer, you need a new address, buy a new house. But that's not realistic. So I talk about the hacker way to achieve these things, right? So I talked about the hacker way to, get your own computer. Obviously, is to use a VPN, make a new user, a new profile. So like when I'm using, I'm now like I am privileged enough to have like mad phones and like mad computers, and I built a lab. But when I was first starting out, I only had one computer. You just make a new user on your computer. So you got a Linux computer, make a new user. It's not root. If you got PC or Mac, make a new user, clean up the desktop, be focused, only do this thing as that user. In fact, have some physical things like put a certain set of glasses on, or put your hoodie on when you are that user. Get into that role so you don't get mixed up. You don't start browsing your online shopping or get some groceries. You're not watching Netflix while you're in this user mode. This user's focused on the job at hand. To furthermore do that, there's this app Cryptomator, which I talk about a lot and I've talked about in the past, and it lets you create an encrypted vault, like a bank vault, on your computer. And you could even make an encrypted vault in the cloud on like Dropbox or Google Drive. And the cool thing is, everything that's in that vault is password protected. Make sure you write down your password. Cryptoharlem is not responsible for you locking out all your stuff away from yourself. Don't do that. Don't be a noob. Don't go out like a straight up zero. Write down your password in the physical world. Write it down on a piece of paper. Write it down on your favorite poster. Write it on the back of a photo in a frame. It's okay. Just write down the password to your thing, and then write down, like some additional password wordy type stuff around it, to get into your thing, right? Now, if you are someone who uses a password manager, obviously no brainer, that's where you'll put this. But in a talk for regular people, I just tell them just like keep it in the physical world. Someone needs to get into your machine and log in as you, and also know that you're using Cryptomator, know the vault, and then know the password for them to use something that's written in your house or on a favorite book or something. So anyway, once you lock it in, that stuff can't be searchable. You won't be able to find it when you're using the search on your computer, part of your operating system, until you unlock the vault. Then the files can show up, okay? So that's a cool thing about Cryptomator, and I made sure I shared that with them. I also talked about metadata, which is inside all the files that we create. It's the data about the file, the data about the data, they say, right? And that information is important if you're a sex worker because, you know, if you're sharing pictures, let's say someone's like, yo, send me a picture. And I'm like, okay, boom, here's a selfie. And I take a selfie and I send it to you. I'm not just sending you that selfie. I'm sending you that selfie and also maybe the location where I took that picture. Maybe the type of phone that I took that picture from, right? Maybe like all kinds of information, time and date. And I might be sending you information if I'm sending it from a computer. My operating system might be giving you my government name or some other stuff like that. So I talked about like simple, easy, really easy ways to look at this stuff. Like Jeffrey's image metadata viewer. Boop, boop. Let me just pull that up. Refresh. Jeffrey's. Okay, cool. So let me get a cleaner. I'm gonna get a cleaner window because it's like too busy. So in the chat right now, I'm just gonna drop that link to Jeffrey's metadata viewer. A way to easily see metadata, right, on an image, right? So yeah, nah, PT, it wasn't just you. You know, the sound is fixed. People can hear me. I appreciate y'all for coming through. And so if you're a sex worker and you know, you're trying to learn about, let me just make sure you can see the whole Jeffries thing. My bad. Oh, actually, yeah, I think that's more. There we go. All right. So if you're a sex worker and you're just learning that there's images and videos that you're sending people have information in it, right? And do the WAP a little bit. It might be easier for you to understand what that looks like by using a website. So Jeffries is a website. You know, I put it in the chat. You can throw a picture in there. Obviously, you're uploading it to this server, and then it'll analyze the picture using, you know, the EXIF tool. Which, if you're, you know, the nerdier of you, probably already use EXIF tool. You know that that's the way to go when it comes to showing this stuff, right? On your machine. You're not uploading it to a website, but for someone who's new to this, stuff like EXIF tool, they're a little bit too complicated. And this is a cute little, like, you know, interface that Jeffrey tried to make here, right? Another thing that I talk about on this thing is EXIF info, which is another place you can go to find information about EXIF on a file, right? So again, that's in the chat, and like EXIF info, boom, also works to show metadata of files, right? Again, so if you're like a non-technical regular person, you're a busy sex worker, you don't have time for, you know, oh yeah, I'm gonna learn EXIF tool and install it and get my Perl libraries. Then you probably will visit a website and upload a file though. So if it was something you wouldn't mind sharing with someone anyway, it probably wouldn't be that hard for you to just use it. So then again, you can see data in a file, and then you can also use web tools to erase that data. And this is a simple way to do that. Boom. That's the Exifer, you know. So again, simple way to erase metadata with an online tool, right? So with Exifer, you upload the image onto here. You look at the image. You got to check a box that says clean it, right? And then once you clean that image, let me see if I can probably give you like a quick demo. Let's see, how would I do that? Okay, let's say I pulled up one of these tracks for the Cryptoharlem thing, right? Oh wait, that didn't work. My bad. I forgot. Like Exifer is a little funky, right? So you're like, okay, next. Okay, I'm good. Start now. Okay, yeah, whatever. I don't fall for the ads on Exifer. I understand people gotta make money. Just do the upload, okay? So this box up here, whatever's in this box, it's a big ad, okay? Don't click on this, all right? Just click on upload here or do the drag and drop. So that box up there, that first thing you see, remember that it's not real. Oh, this file's too big, my bad. And it's they only look for, let me get a picture. Yeah, here's a picture. All right, okay. So first thing you do when you go to Exifer is you drag something into the box, right? So that's a picture that's from earlier in the slides, right? So remember, on Exifer, do not click on the main box. It's an ad, okay? just drag and drop into the upload box. Okay? So let's say I did that, right? So I was like, yo, I'm just dragging and dropping into this upload box. I then hit exif me, and it'll try to place a location on the file if they're, but it doesn't do reading. Exif no longer does a good job reading. You just want to click is checked, the tags will be cleared, right? And then you can want to click, once you do that, right? Like this says this picture is from a Canon EOS 510 Mark 10. It was a Photoshop image using Photoshop 6 for Windows. A woman's face disintegrating into small squares. See that? So it is reading some of the EXIF data from this camera. I've had issues with it reading, like it has keywords here, regenerate, square, block, whatever. And I hit clear on that. Has some geotags, right? So you see all that EXIF data, and then you click here, go EXIFing, right? And because I hit clear, it tells me the EXIF data of this file, a woman's face disintegrating into squares, has been successfully modified. You close the editor, and now you can download that image onto your computer, and the EXIF is gone on that image, right? But if you're trying to like use this to see EXIF data, I would recommend using Jeffrey's tool. Here, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna use Jeffrey's tool. I'm gonna browse. Let me see how I can do this. Actually, nah, there's not an easy way for me to do that while I'm doing the stream. So, but with Jeffrey's tool, I could probably try to get like a, I will try, you know what I'll try to do? Let me try to close it down, right? Let me try to do it this way, because I have to like open up a whole thing to an operating system. It's a big headache, right? Let me try to get a woman's face disintegrating up this way, right? Then, okay, let me bring you all back. Now let me tell Jeffrey's tool that I'm not a robot. Now, when you're using this Jeffrey's image metadata viewer, you'll get much better, like you get all this, right? All this detailed information about the EXIF, and you'll see the XMP, you'll see the EXIF. This is not, there's different types of metadata, right? So you'll get the basic image info, the size, whatever, operating system. You'll see the EXIF in here, right? A woman's face from a Canon EOS 5D Mark II, right? And image information that came from Photoshop. So you know this was Photoshopped, and you know Photoshop sent information about its use on it, what version of Photoshop it was used on. You'll see the IPTC, all that stuff, right? And all this file info. And you can hit click to show profile data, and you'll get even more information about the image, right? So you'll see this profile came from an HP computer, 1998, all this other stuff, okay, whatever, right? But it doesn't clean. But I would say if you really want very, very detailed EXIF and you didn't know how to use EXIF tool, Jeffrey's image metadata viewer, where I would do the viewing, I would only do the cleaning in Exifer. But whatever, up to you. I don't want to get too into the weeds with this, okay? And I think for sex workers, that's something that you're dealing with so much media, it's really important. I talked also about ways that they can do it using different operating systems, right? So I talked about how iOS, there's a step-by-step that was in the next web, how to make your own iOS filter cleaner, right? For your images to get rid of EXIF using shortcuts. Not advocating this particular app, but just an example of an app for Android, the Photo EXIF editor, that has like a little bit of like a flashy interface. Other people might like that, and it lets you clean up the EXIF from your from an Android phone. So again, sex workers, a lot of media, a lot of images, don't realize they're sending a lot of data. I talk about this thing, I know where your cat lives.com, which has a bunch of public images of cats, pulls the geolocation out for these images and shows you where that cat picture was taken, which is probably where the owner lives, right? And that's I know where your cat lives, which is a really cool privacy experiment. And I try not to like show too much stuff that's a little bit exploitative to people, because if that was your cat image, you might be upset you didn't realize you were sharing that with the world. But you know what, I think this thing's been up there for a while now, so I think it's probably okay. I know where your cat lives.com. I always want to double check my links when I put them in the chat, because one typo and I don't know where I'm sending you, but I'm pretty sure that's the real site. For the brave ones, click on that and you should be taken to this. Yes, yeah. And the cat that we're looking at will get loaded into this box, and we can go to the next cat. We can see the information about that. See a new cat. I want to see a new cat. Give me a random cat. Boom. Here's a cat. Give me another cat. Boom, here's another cat. And again, these are all images that the person took, maybe on Flickr or Facebook, not realizing, actually, no, it wasn't on Facebook. And I don't think it was Flickr, because one thing that I do talk about is obviously EXIF data is scary to people. And when you upload your images to most things, social media, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, Instagram, they'll take the EXIF, but then they'll use it to like profile and analyze and do things with your account, but they'll scrub it and delete it before they put the picture up for download. You know what I'm saying? So if you were to download a picture from Twitter a long time ago, it would have a lot of EXIF data in it. But they have security people who were like, yeah, we need to protect folks. And, the Twitter modern code cleans out EXIF, Facebook modern code cleans out EXIF, Instagram as well. But you are giving it to that company. So that's another, if you want to be super easy about it, you also could just upload it. If you trust Instagram or whatever, you can just upload it there and then save it. That's another way to get your EXIF cleaned, right? What else was important? Let's see. I'm trying to make the Saturday version. I'm trying to make it a little bit more like, we'll go at least 30 minutes, but I don't know how long we're going to go to make it more extendable. So I don't know how we're going to do with the Saturday version of the Cryptoharlem stream. Like, I don't know how long I'm going to be like, talking about all this stuff. We'll see, Hold on. Let me make this. I feel like this window is like not as wide as it needs to be, and it's getting a little cut off. I don't like to do edits on the fly. It always burns me, but I hate when stuff looks some kind of way. It's not the way I want it. You know what I mean? So let's look at how to have your own internet service. So like, let's say you made an online persona. Let's say you made a stage name. Let's say you had a sex worker self and you wanted to make your own internet service. How do I do that? What do you mean make my own internet service? And what I talk to them about is, I talk to them about how IP address is a thing, especially when maybe you're not trying people, like when you use a lot of these like live cam sites, when you use like a site for adult images, whatever, you can say, don't show these images to people in my state, or don't show these images to people in my country. A lot of people, they're like, I don't want people in the US to see me because they might know it's me. I'll take customers from Switzerland. I don't mind that, right? But your IP address would be the same, especially when you use social media for marketing. A lot of people might start seeing, hey, do you know Matt? And then do you also know the guy in the gold jacket? Matt's like, kind of like not outed, not well-known persona, right? So by having a different IP address, I explained to the folks that really gives you an easy way to switch up who you are, right? And one thing that I talk about is easy ways to get your own IP address, right? And probably the easiest way is to use one of these free services like Bitmask, which is fueled by the Rise Up VPN. So I'm gonna put that in the chat. Like, Bitmask is probably my favorite, tool when it comes to it. And also, a lot of the Bitmask servers, the IP address you get isn't a known VPN company, so you don't get flagged as using a VPN a lot. So not a promise, right? But it's free VPN that can be trusted, right? Boom, and that is the Bitmask. And Bitmask you can put on a PC, you can put on a Windows, you can put on a Mac, but you can even put Bitmask on your Android phone. But there is no Bitmask for iPhone, right? So if you're on an iPhone, you either go to the Rise Up VPN settings and you walk through how to use, for iPhone, you gotta like walk through how to set up Rise Up VPN on iPhone, right? And it's not the most fun thing in the world, but it's not impossible. So I'm not gonna go through the search of it, because what I'm trying not to do is spend too much time like me searching for something. You can look for it yourself. Rise Up VPN for iPhone. You'll see that Rise Up has instructions how to do that. Or you can use siphon.ca. That is a VPN that you can use, and it'll just work on iPhone, right? I like TunnelBear. They're really nice. They give you 500 megs, half a gig of data per month for free on a TunnelBear account. But these accounts obviously are linked to a username. You have to give yourself a username. The above ones, no username. Proton Mail has Proton VPN, 7 days free trial. After the free trial, it limits where you can look like you're coming from, and it's much slower when you're using your VPN, but it still works. So, again, if you weren't trying to move money around and you were just trying to use a VPN, Proton VPN is another option, right? So I like those free VPNs. I explain to folks that browser leaks you can use to see where it appears you're coming from, right? I always like people know, like, yo, if you use a VPN, maybe you want to mess with that browser leaks. You know what I'm saying? So for all you VPN heads out there, go to browser leaks and click on IP address, and you'll see information that you're giving every time you visit a website about where you are and all that other stuff, right? Yeah, I feel you on that PT, PT Aguilera, Proton VPN, it has been slower, especially the free one, right? But if you use the pay one and you're not using like the most secure VPN connection, you can usually go through a couple of different servers and try to find one that's not too busy. But what I've noticed is different countries, as the marketing is kicking up in that country, the server just gets busier and they'll eventually get to it. So, I've been using it for mad years now, since it was in beta, and it's gotten better. I've noticed a lot of connection issues because mad hackers be using Proton VPN. That's not a secret. And so a lot of people treat Proton VPN traffic different from regular VPN traffic because mad hackers be using Proton Mail. So, just understand that that's real. All right. Let's see. I'm at like the 135 mark. We got a little bit of people's up in here. You know what I'm saying? Who's new other than PT? J Think Pencer I didn't see before. Join Effort TT I didn't see before. And another TT viewer. Yo, thanks for joining through. Okay. Let's see what else did I want to do? Yeah, I mean, oh, you know what I thought was really fascinating? Like if you sign up for the Sex Worker Conference, you'll get all of this, right? And if there's a particular thing, let me just throw it out for people who are feeling chatty. You know what I'm saying? From this page right here, is there something that you want to see before I just pick one? Because I'm not going to do them all. You know what I'm saying? So the email account, bank account, your face or your look, your address. Does anyone want to know how to make a ghost version of these? Which is the thing that is the most interesting for you? Because maybe we'll do it that way. No? I'll give you 5 seconds because I know I have a delay in the stream. So pick one of these things. The first one that I see in the chat, I'll go over. And let me move this thing up a little bit so you can see the whole thing. Okay? So which internet service? Well, that would be a VPN. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to make it look like you have your own internet service, using a VPN is good. Using Firefox with their DNS over HTTP or DOH technology, that'd be good. So, I appreciate that. Pick another one. Face look. Okay, cool. Boom. Done. Let's do it. Okay. So, what I talk about was reverse image search and how facial recognition and object recognition works, which is, for the sex workers, it's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So, it's how your social media platform might use to identify your account and remove you, right? So if you use TinEye, right? TinEye is my favorite reverse image search because maybe you want to just check an image real quick. And when you go to TinEye, they don't keep the image. They say, look, we care about your privacy, we'll throw it out. And whether you trust them or not, at least they make that claim. If you use Google reverse image search, right, they'll keep the image to make the service better. So you're basically, in trying to find out where this image is on the internet, putting it on another place on the internet. Granted, it doesn't show up in Google image searches. They're not saying we're gonna now, we tricked you because you're trying to do reverse image. Now we show you everyone your picture, but at least Google's holding it, right? And Yandex, no disrespect to Yandex, but it's possible. Like Yandex, they spasibo Yandex, but nah, man, like I can't really mess with your reverse image search. So if I know that my picture already is out there, I might use Yandex to do extra searching, or Google Images to do extra searching. But TinEye is what I use because if I want to do reverse image and I want to be a little more discreet, TinEye all day. If it shows up in TinEye, then you got work to do. And if it doesn't, then you can deliberate about using other things, okay? I talked about a little bit about, for people who do, this is again, but for a sex work conference, people who do cam work where they're like, yo, this is my stream, thanks for joining, blah, 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 give me some gold or whatever the cam service is. You're live most of the time. And if you're actually live, because you have to talk to people in the chat, the window in your it has light running through it. I know you're in a place where there's sunny right now, and you might not realize it, but the shadows from the objects in your room, people can use open source intelligence tools like OSINT tools to measure shadows and try to figure out the time and date in your general location, which is wild, but people have time like that. They be doing that, okay? So a tool that I talked about was this nsfwjs.com, which is not safe for work JS.com, which is a really cool JavaScript library that's fueled by TensorFlow, the machine learning that Google made, right? And the team that made this is called Infinite Red. So props to Infinite Red. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I actually like this tool a lot. They just did it for fun, and they started making shirts and stuff for it. So Infinite Red is a development team. They do web development. You know, I'm not trying to make an ad for them, but they did make this tool, and I'm talking about their tool, so props to them. So if you have an image, right, like let's say our face of the person with the pixels, right, you can put this image up, and it tells you, you can put blur protection on, you know, if you don't want, you know, and it'll blur the this thing, but it'll tell you how much it thinks this is a drawing, how much it thinks this is neutral, how much it thinks it's hentai, which I know you don't know about, but it's that anime porn, right? And how pornographic-y it thinks it is and how sexy it thinks it is. And I'm sorry, like I thought this was sexy, but nah, it was like, nah, it's not sexy. Now, NSFW.js is fueled by looking at thousands and thousands of images of pornography, right? And it's a really fast way to check whether a picture seems pornographic, right? And so if you were a sex worker and you were putting a picture or an image of your face or something up on a social platform that's a little bit sensitive, maybe you'll use this to just make sure that, you know, this thing is like not whatever. And you can use different accuracy engines, right, to see what different things thought. So they made the MobileNet V2 model, and then they made the Inception model. And you can change the model that you're using and then be like, yo, you know, I want to see on the one that's a little bit more strict, I want to see where I fell. Or the one that's a little bit more loose, how I fell. So NSFW.js, play with that all day. I really liked that tool in my research. It was the easiest to use of the machine learning tools. Let me put that in the chat. Bow. Again, how porny is an image, right? Yo, you about to, like, normally when I'm on here, I have like my whole moderator crew, but I didn't get Mina Maria up in here. So if you see spam in the chat, like, you know, please, like, you know, just let me know, and we'll get around to getting rid of that person. And you know what I'm saying? Maybe Hong Kong Gong wants to jump into the Twitch and get rid of this like random chat. All right. But yeah, just please ignore any of that stuff that's not from us. Okay. And let's see what else came up in that face thing, right? I talked about tools that people can use to learn about computer vision, right? Because, you know, I'm a software engineer. I'm like, oh yeah, computer vision is a thing, but understanding that computers are learning how to see and also how to understand what they're seeing, that's new for people, right? So image classification, right? Image recognition and object recognition is like, look, there's an object in front of me and it's this kind of object. Getting a computer to understand that this is a face, this is a official Matt mug, right? Like, you know, this is a plug. Like, that took a lot. But then you can classify it. This is a mug, but it's got hot liquid in it, and it appears to be cracked. Like, that's classification. It's a whole nother thing. Just trying to simplify it for you. And one of the tools that I really liked, because it was just really easy for people to use, and again, I wanted stuff where it's really easy for people to use, because sex workers are people who run their own business, and they're really busy, right? Was this CHOOCH AI, right? And if you want, you can download their app, right, for iPhone or Android, if you want. And I'm sure that the app is probably capturing images that score well or not, and like definitely want to read the privacy on the app. I didn't get a chance to do that because for my research, I just cared about on-the-fly, fast, live image recognition tools. And what this app does is you point it at something, and it tells you all the things that it found or feels about that thing. But it doesn't see adult images, is what I tested it on, and it can't. They obviously didn't give that to the tool because it wasn't what they were looking for. But it does find a lot of everyday household things. So if you run the app, let me see if I have it on this phone here. I think it's on this phone. I got mad phones, and a lot of these apps I'm not trying to put on every phone, you know? So I think it's on this phone. And if it is, I can show you a little. Uh, is it on this one? No, it's not on this phone. All right, but if you install it, you aim your phone at a thing, and it basically tells you what that thing is. If it's kind of like that thing where Microsoft thing people were messing with, where it's like you appear to be a male African American who's a teenager. That's what people tell me because of my skin looking so good, you know. Um, it'll tell you stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So actually, pretty interesting. Was this tool in just trying to explain to people? You know, you could use, and on these links you can dig in and make an account and use Google's auto machine learning vision tool, right? Which is auto machine learning vision AI. And vision AI is cool and everything, but it's not like point and shoot. It's not like simple for average people, right? So that app was just simple and average. Another thing I really liked was this IMA tag software, which makes an invisible watermark in an image or video, right? So get this. There's an invisible watermark on this image or video. And let's say I give it to one of y'all, right? So I'm just like, yo, everyone who wants this video. And let's say I gave it to Kanye27, or let's say I gave it to A10 or something, right? If you put that video somewhere, even though it's invisible, I know that you put it there, and it'll be like, yo, this was A10's version of the video. So you can basically mark videos. And for people who work on campsites or people who are, you know, this is obviously an expensive, like, professional service, but, you know, if you're making money on this and who you give a personal video to and it gets leaked onto some free site, you want to know who it is, you can actually do that, even if they manipulate or change the image or the video, which I was like, wow. And I messed with it, and it was actually pretty cool. They have a demo on their site. I don't want to, again, I'm not making an ad for this company, so they have a YouTube video. You can check it out. There's a link to it in the slides, okay? And then another thing that I think was really important for, again, this is more for sex workers, was just the amount of computer imaging on social media that looks at all social media images, right? Like if you view the source of a Facebook page with some pictures up that you took, you'll notice that in the tags for that picture, right, and the image tags are all the machine learning and object recognition and image classification things that it found in that picture, right? So you can view the source, and the same thing is on IG. You know what I'm saying? So if you be up on Instagram and you view the source of an image, you'll see those tags in there. And so I talk about things that you might want to avoid it from scanning one URL by going to a link tree and things like that. So hopefully that's useful. Last thing about Facing is Clearview AI. Again, this thing's been written up to death. Again, it's a tool that law enforcement use and people at Clearview give to their friends and investors as well. You take a picture, it's the iOS version, it'll tell you, you can say, I want to see image search results of this person, and this, you take a picture of Mark Zuckerberg, and now you find all these image search results of Mark Zuckerberg with of a high certainty of being that same person. So if I had this tool and I took a picture of you, it would just find from public images on the internet where you are. And if you're not a public person, like, you know, if you're not your boy Matt from Cryptoharlem, so you're not like out there, it'll use public social media. It'll use public images of you in the background of some picture someone else took, or a family photo that you'd have no control over. So, you know, if there are a lot of public images of you on the internet, you might want to take them down and protect yourself from Clearview AI. It's probably the few things you can do. But once you're a public person, you know, it's a wrap, right? It'll find a lot of stuff, and then it can dig deeper, right? And let's see what else. And I think I might wrap at I might wrap at 2, right? Which is like in 10 minutes. So, yo, if you're watching the stream, if you're here and there's one of these topics you want to figure out, like, hey, I want to dig into how I can make a ghost version of an address, or a ghost version of a phone, or, you know, a ghost email, you know, put it in the chat, pick one thing, and that's the thing that we'll do. All right. So it's always weird when I talk to y'all on the chat because I'm streaming this stuff, so it's obviously a little bit of a delay. So you should be hearing my words soon. Put into the chat which of these things you want to learn about. It'll be the last thing that we do. All right? And appreciate y'all. Let's see what we got. Let me open this up a little bit. Bank account. Okay, you got this. Yo, JTHI. Appreciate you. J Think Pencer. Okay. So let's go through the bank account slide, right? So this was actually very eye-opening because I thought, okay, what is the easiest way for a sex worker to make some kind of bank account type thing? And it is actually super, super hard. So I defined a bank account as a place where you can send, hold, and receive funds, right? And even though, let's say Google will take an ad, an adult ad, they'll take your money to advertise, but they will not send your money back to you for anything, for things like you can't use Google Pay, right? Google has a thing called Google Pay Send, where you could just send money to someone using the Google servers. Boom. Sex workers, no. Venmo, sex workers, no. PayPal, Square, Cash, TransferWise, Revolut, BitPay, Coinbase, all these things that hackers use all the time. And if you don't know what these things are, I don't have time to get into it. You can check them out, okay? All of them are off limits to sex workers. You can't use it. So also, if you do use these services for anything related to sex work, guess what? They're going to take that money. Wait, whoa. We had something there. We had a little alert over there for a minute. We had a little overlay for a minute. So that would have been cool. I don't know who you were, but Stripe, Stripe, they're not trying to mess. Those Irish twins are too smart. They're taking over the world. They don't want to mess with the sex work, right? So what is the option then? What can we do, right? Paper especially is cumbersome. And so a couple of things. Well, if you want to buy something and you don't want to buy it as your government identity, you can actually, in the US, go to a pharmacy, go to a gift store and get a gift card. Don't get a refillable gift card. You must get a one-time use gift card. I recommend by this company called Vanilla Gift. You just say, yo, I want to get a, I have my friend Trin Bob and I want to get a present for them, $50 US gift card, happy birthday Trin Bob. You get that card and you can use it on a lot of websites online, but not all websites online, because the first thing you'll notice about these cards, and I usually have some around, but I don't have any right here in the lab. Let me see if I have any inside this thing. Is that they don't have chips on them, right? And because the cards don't, here's one, right? So this is a card, right? And I think this card has no money on it. So if there's money on it, you can use it. But this thing's a card. I think it has no money on it, right? I don't know if you all can see it, but you'll notice that it has no chip on it, right? And that means a lot of payment processors aren't going to mess with this, but it works pretty well. Any name, any address, this card info will work on, right? So boom, that's the first thing if you want to just buy, right? So maybe you made a Amazon just for this thing, and it has this card, or maybe you bought it on the website, whatever, right? Now e-wallets are a thing, and in the hacker world, e-wallets, they save the day because they offer things that have cards that have chips on them, so you can buy them in certain places. But most e-wallets don't work for people in the US, regardless. Even if you're a USA-based hacker, you can't use an e-wallet. They're for people outside the US. So viewers in the EU and other parts of the world, look at some of these things if you're interested in how to get something that appears to be like a credit card, but not linked to a real identity. There's a company in Canada called Paxum that I did talk about. Sex workers can use them to make their own kind of like fulfillment payment service, but only for businesses. So you already have to have an LLC or a sole proprietor, official registered business, then Paxum will take you. They don't open up for just regular US folks for anything else. Although they do that for folks outside, right? Okay. So it ended up being that cryptocurrency was the best way to move. And I talked about the BRD wallet because if you got bread on your, I don't want to show y'all all my Bitcoins, but I think I put a picture of it up here. Let me move up a little bit. So this is what bread looks like, and it's for Android and it's for iPhone, and it's a simple Bitcoin wallet, right? But the cool thing about it is it also allows you to have USDT, which is called Tether. And a lot of sites like Pornhub can pay you in Tether. So it's one of those cryptocurrencies that's used in some adults' websites and services. So Tether is right there, and Bitcoin is right there. You can have someone send you Bitcoin by just sending them your wallet address or your Tether coins through your Tether address, and they show up. Now you might say, yo, I need to pay my rent, I need to eat, how do I get my money? they actually have ATMs. So you can find an ATM near you, show up with your phone, zap the barcode, and money comes out. And it's not a Bitcoin ATM; it's a Bread Wallet ATM. It's connected to how Bread does their stuff. So it's kind of like a Bread Bitcoin ATM, and it's really, it's pretty cool. Like, as you already know, Crypto Harlem, based in Harlem, New York State doesn't have easy cryptocurrency laws. So last time I checked, there are no Bread ATMs or anything even like that in New York State. Now, obviously, in New York, if you go to the bodega, you know what I'm saying, you gotta get a chopped cheese. If you're me, you get a vegan chopped cheese. You already know that they sell, they have Bitcoin ATMs, right? Like, I might know a guy who knows a guy who puts those ATMs in bodegas and in the hood and stuff. And, when people get hit with ransomware attacks, they run to those ATMs. And you'll notice a lot of the sites for criminals will be like, if you got ransomware attacked, you're looking for an ATM, click here. Those ATMs are not the same as these. I just want you to know they're not the same. Now, if you needed to, you're in a pinch, you could use those things to extract funds, but I don't know. They're all different. I'm not here to rate them. I'm not going to tell you which ATMs are shady or which ones take too much of your Bitcoin, but Bread ATMs are an official thing, and it works really well with their app, and I thought that would be cool for sex workers to know. So if you had a persona, you needed to send or receive funds, maybe you did it that way. And I did also talk about these things like Binance and Paxful, PaySense, and WireX. All are working on or have credit cards that are linked directly to Bitcoin wallets, right? So, like, here's a Binance card, right? I'm just gonna pull it up. So, and a Binance card, it basically is a Visa card. Now, every time you swipe your Visa, it's taking money right out of your wallet. You know what I'm saying? And so you're not getting that complexity of using some outside service. You could just straight up pay your rent. You could straight up go to the grocery store and you just swipe and it's coming right out of your wallet, right? So Binance does that. These other ones all do it or working on it as well. Again, I'm not here to advertise for them. Also, there's a currency called Verge. And Verge is a cryptocurrency that also a lot of adult services pay you in. Like if you're on Pornhub, you can get paid in Verge, right? And Verge Coin, the way that they allow you to use it and liquidate your funds is they have a list of vendors who will accept Verge Coin. So when someone sends you Verge and it's in your wallet, you can just go and find like who I can spend Verge on. So you obviously Pornhub will give you Verge, right? You also can sign up for Pornhub in Verge, right? And a lot of these services work the same way. And some of them are just like, like a VPN or a Bitcoin company, but or like a vaping company or whatever, right? So it's really interesting, a coffee company. And you just find, hey, where can I spend this stuff now that I have it? And there's a couple of these listings. Obviously, you can see it's mad long. And I was able to find, like, I was trying to write up, like, oh, I woke up, I had coffee, I went here. And I was able to find a kind of a workflow. It's heavily leaning towards cryptocurrency companies, but of companies where they have markets where I can use it, right? Like I'm not advertising for this company. I'm just showing you one thing, and hopefully it's not anything that's not NSFW, right? So obviously they don't have an encrypted URL, which is not good to see. But this place takes Verge Coin, right? So they were like, yeah, you want to buy some clothing or lighting, you can look at what we have, and you can buy stuff, and they'll take Verge Coin. Now, I know it's no HTTPS, so yeah, for real. But just an example, okay, of what on that vendor list. And I found out that there's APIs, not the coding APIs, authorized payment institutions, and EMIs, electronic money institutions. I couldn't find a list that I could vet and feel good about, so I'll just tell you, look into it and know that these are things. They're not banks. They're in countries around the world that have like, I don't want to say loose banking laws, but they have like innovative fintech laws, right? That allow these places to operate. And an EMI will make an account for you. You can receive funds, you can hold funds, and you can send funds. But the restrictions and how you set it up are all different. And you'll find, especially in the world of offshore where hackers like to play, but also sex workers and other folks too, EMIs and APIs save the day for a lot of those businesses, okay? So yeah, but again, if you do use one of these wallets, like I talk about, again, Bread Wallet is a favorite of mine. Pretty easy to set up. Doesn't need any information about you. Use a VPN on your phone when you're doing your transaction as a pro tip if you want to be extra private. Verge wallet, again, if you want to just use it at checkout straight up at one of these participating Verge members, right? And my favorite wallet of all time, Samurai wallet, for all you hackers out there, Bitcoin wallet for the straights, right? And Samurai wallet is probably the most secure Android wallet I've ever found. It also, they make an app that you can set up. It's complicated. It's like I would have to do a whole 1 hour on Samurai, which I will do probably at some point. It's too complicated for me to just rush through, but has a lot of settings that you might want to do really, really private transactions. Every time you send and receive, it's from a different Bitcoin wallet and address. Things like that, plus more. So if you're really into privacy and currency, check it out, check it out. Okay, I gotta go now because SW Survival Guide is starting. All right, yo, so again, if you want these slides, they are yours, okay? They're for the people. SW Survival Guide, online privacy. These slides, okay? So, and if you want to sign up for the conference, I don't know if you still can, because it is a 2-day conference. Maybe they still let you do it. SV Survival Guide. Boom. All right. Stay safe. Stay secure. I'm going to go peep the SV Survival Guide. I'm going to get ready for my Q&A, and I'm doing a live panel. And you'll see the whole walkthrough of all these slides during that thing. See you next week. Crypto Harlem, 1 p.m. Eastern, Saturdays. How long can I keep doing that for? I have no idea, but I'm going to try. All right? All right. Be well, y'all. Stay safe. Peace. Thanks. You just caught like the first of a different style of Crypto Harlem. This is my weird goodbye. I have like my weird over-the-top music. This stuff's going to be up on Twitch. I'll try to make some clips of this that don't get erased. Also, we have cryptoharlem.live, which is like a website where we try to put stuff up that, only we control. All right, peace.